Okay, part 2 with decorating my daughter's cochlear implant processor. Here we have her N5 coil. Easiest if you take your battery and your cable off. Just be careful if you're removing the cable frequently, you don't want to damage those little pins in the end. Now this one is a little bit fiddlier. If you want, you can just decorate the centre, which is a little bit easier. I've been decorating the outer ring of the processor as well. It looks quite effective. I think it adds to the overall look. So I will show you how I decorate the whole piece. Bear with me, it is a little bit fiddly, but it is worth it in the end. I highly recommend for this one a sharp craft knife. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not sure what's happened with my craft knife. It's starting to rust on the end. I think I need to get a new blade. Alright, so again, like the processor, I'm using the same watermelon pop tape. You can get it online. I am in Australia, so we get it online or in some stores. I'm not sure how easy it is to get in other countries, but a decorating specific duct tape would work well as well. Sometimes referred to as duckling tape. Just be careful what tape you use, because if you use something which has a very high glue content on the back, you will leave a sticky residue on your processor. So just like the processor, I start by just sticking it over the general coil, just so I get an overall fit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim out the middle section around the middle of my coil. So as I said, this is a little fiddly. I could actually do this with two pieces of tape if I wanted. But I'll just stick to the one. I'm just doing a rough trim around at this stage. Now I'll put that piece aside. Okay, I'll actually shift this a little bit. I've trimmed up a little bit much, but that's okay. All right. So just popping that over the centre. Like I did with the processor and the ear hook, I'm just running my finger around, pushing the tape along that groove. It just helps give a bit of a guide as to where you're trimming your tape. And pushing it down over the end as well. So then just getting your craft knife, just running around the groove. I've actually trimmed it tight enough on the sides that I only really have to cut the top, a little bit off the side here, just to neaten it up. And trimming along the bottom here. So it's a little bit fiddly. Alright. So there you've got that section trimmed around the edges, and then you're wanting to trim out your section for your battery. I have seen some people leave it over the top of their battery. We tend to adjust our battery quite often, we tend to adjust our magnet quite often, so I do like to keep this open so that I can access the magnet quite easily. Again, just getting your craft knife and trimming around the inside. Just being careful, obviously. Don't want to put too much pressure on the actual coil with your craft knife, because you don't want to cut into the plastic. To excuse my little 8-month-old in the background. He's deciding to chime in. A couple of little bits how it's still attached. Okay, there we go. So we can pop our magnet back in there. And see how that's trimmed around. Just means that your magnet is easy to adjust there. Look, have to excuse me, I'm just going to quickly attend to the little one. Hang on a sec. Okay, and we're back. Alright, so now we're going to go around and decorate the rest of the coil. This is where I use the original square, or you could cut a new square. I just recommend cutting a slit up the centre just so it's a little bit easier to get around that centre section. So we just start by sticking that on to the coil. The reason I use a square rather than a strip is you're not trying to bend it around the circle of the coil. Just popping that on there, as you can see, stuck on there. Again, highly recommend a craft knife for this section. So what I'm going to do is I am going to gently, bit by bit, pull the tape around down over the edge of the coil. Just going to trim into here just to get it started. Alright, now as we go around, I'll use my craft knife just to trim off that excess. There you go. Now this is where I quite like the pop tape because it's quite forgiving, even though it's causing little folds around there. I find some of the thicker duct tape or duckling tapes don't bend so much, so you may need to trim along this edge rather than trying to fold your tape down over the edge. Alright, now we have to trim around the inside. Again, running my nail along there, just trimming up to the base of the coil there and over this section. Alright, now this is similar to doing inside around the magnet. Just pop your craft knife in there, run it around that inside edge, trimming off your excess there. Over the top there. Again, around the inside edge. And over the last little join. And pop a little bit off there. Oh, hang on. Okay. There is your coil done. You can attach your cable back on, grabbing the processor that we did earlier, popping it all together, and there you have it. You have to excuse I didn't do a great job on that inside edge. There's a bit of a fold there, a bit of a crease. But there you go, all finished.